One last thing about franchising. People talk about wanting to support their local business community. Well, in most cases, franchises are owned by your neighbors, people you go to church with. Okay? They are locally owned. Those are people who have taken some risks, started a business. So I encourage you to support franchises here locally. Most of that money ends up staying in your local community too, because there are people just like you who've decided to take a chance on things, starting a business. What other questions do you have?
I just got a call from the franchise.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. He embroidered me. I don't know if you...
Embroidered?
He embroidered me. Are you familiar with him?
I am.
I had met with the franchise and he called me for a meeting for tomorrow.
Is that right?
Because he wanted me to go look at a store and talk to the owner.
Explore it as a potential franchise opportunity.
Yes. What is your impression of embroidery? I don't know much about it.
Well, you put me on the spot there to talk about a particular one like that. It's embroidery, just to educate for others about what it is. I call it a B2B business, business to business. Your customers are by and large going to be other businesses. And they do things, I'm going to point at you again. Yeah. The shirt you're wearing, they do that kind of embroidery, okay? Like company logos, T-shirts promoting nonprofit events or for companies to promote something. The golf shirts that have the country club name on it. They do embroidered hats. They got this really cool high-tech equipment that is just amazing to me. They can take a PDF or JPEG logo, plug it into their computer, and they can, just from that logo, from a computerized JPEG, they can embroider it onto a shirt. You know, and that little machine is just put all these threads in there. It's just a lot of fun to watch. But here's the thing about this. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Paul.
Paul. Paul, with that kind of business, it's easy to look at it from the technical side. Wow, this is kind of cool. It makes all these neat things. And it's fun working the equipment and watching how it can do all this. Nothing happens in that store unless somebody has sold something. So that's the kind of business, Paul, where to keep that machine running, someone needs to be out there selling. St. John's Episcopal Church, do you need some shirts? Because we could make some shirts for you here. Okay? Going to Providence Country Club, well, hey, let us be your supplier of your golf shirts. Okay? Someone needs to be out there selling, whether it's the owner or whether it's someone who works for the owner. Okay? And that's where some people, and Paul, I don't know you, of course, but that's where some people get misfit sometimes. They don't realize that a particular business may have a large sales component to it, and they don't realize that. And they find it's not a good fit for them because once they get into it, they find they're more operations oriented. They like running the machine, but again, there's no machine to run if no one has sold an order. So that's one of the things you want to look at and ask them, I think, Paul, is tell me about the sales side of this. Who does the sales typically? What kind of sales do I need to be bringing in a month to be able to keep this thing busy? Because that's a kind of business where you can't rely on someone to walk in. Because I think the embroidery, they typically put them in some nice retail shopping centers.
And they sell to schools and companies and B2B.
Is there a lot of competition?
A lot of competition, and here's one thing, if I were you, I'd explore a little more. Online competition. Because it's easy to go, I just told you what you do. JPEG, that's all they need, and they can embroider this. There may be some
This year, I mean, I basically emailed them something the church secretary sent me, and they added the JobHunters thing to it, and bingo.
There it is.
Yeah.
Online?
Yes, online. Well, no, it was just, well, yes, an email.
Yeah. But there, you can send it to some other locations, you know, half the country away, and they can do a lot of that for you today, too. So,
it was one of the ones he said you only needed one store. You didn't need multiple stores. That's why I asked the question earlier.
Yeah. Many of the B2B kind of companies, one store usually. But and that's the kind of company where you want to make sure you're a good fit. Again, I don't know you, but there's a sales side to that business. But I know people who own embroidery. But I'll talk with you more about it if you want to. I'm glad to chat. Great question. That's kind of interesting. You got called by a franchise. That was like a plant.
Randy, you set that up.
That was
You
a
set
plan.
that up. You did
No,
that.
I had looked at it.
We've never met before.
I
have
about
we?
it last week.
We've never met before. It's like a magician at the show.
They're everywhere, they're everywhere.
Great questions. What other questions do you have?
Many
What's
people,
new in terms of franchises coming down the pipe? Are there any new
Yeah, that's a great
name
question.
things?
Yeah, Jim, I appreciate the question. There are new options that are coming out there. I do caution people against following the fads. And I think it's more important to find fit than it is to follow a fad. Now, there are some things that I guess you might call hot franchises out there. One of the fastest growing is in the area of senior care. There's an aging population out there. We of us who are in the baby boom generation, we kind of got where I guess we're sandwiched there. We've got still kids we're taking care of, and we've got aging parents also we may be taking care of. And often they don't even live near us. And so there's a lot of franchises that have sprung up to fill that void where they have trusted, screened caregivers who will go and maybe just provide companion care for an elderly person in their home. Now, in some cases, if the franchise is particularly licensed for this, providing even some medical care in the person's home. But it allows the seniors to have the dignity of being able to continue to live in their own home, not having to go to a nursing home. It gives more peace of mind to their kids and whoever else is responsible for them. So there's several franchises that are sprung up in that area. An example of where I'd caution you against following a fad. 4 years ago, you asked that question, the biggest one coming down the pipe was prepared meals. Prepared meal franchises. Seen some of those?
yeah.
See many of them anymore? Right?
I actually know somebody that opened one, they're not doing well at all.
They're not doing well? What's the name of that one, do you
I
know?
don't even know, some sister's friend, she just told me the other day that they're not doing well at all.
Well, a friend of mine owns one, and by the way, I just before I came here, had a meal from one of those. We shop at one, it's called The Dinner Affairs, down here in South Park on Piedmont Road. I love it. I think it's the greatest thing if you're a busy family. You can go in there if you want, and you can prepare, they have all the ingredients there for these gourmet meals, and you just put them together yourself. In 2 hours, you can make a dozen meals. You wrap them up in plastic, and you put them in your freezer for when you need them. And what some of them will do, including this one, is for a small extra fee, they'll prepare it for you. So I go in there once a month, and I pick up a dozen meals, and each one will serve 4 to 5 people, and I bring them home, stick them in the freezer. I love it. Evidently, not enough people, though, have discovered it, because a lot of those have gone by the wayside. Dream Dinners, Super Suppers, Supper Time USA, those are some of the names. And My Girlfriend's Kitchen, that's the name of it, My Girlfriend's Kitchen. Many of those have gone by the wayside. It was a fad, I guess. Not enough people caught on, went away. That's why I say, don't follow the fads. Find the right fit. Yes.
Are they in the publishing area?
Publishing, do it's more specific for me.
Online books?
Publishing books, not that I know of. I do know there are publishing magazines, but like I was telling Paul a while ago with embroidery, the magazine publishing, nothing sells, no magazines sell unless someone has sold advertising first. That's what they're supported by. So though there are some franchise publications, usually like magazines, and it's like the magazines, often you may get them at home as a flyer, but someone has to, and usually oftentimes the owner is involved in selling the advertising. That's what supports the magazine. Okay? It's not supported by subscriptions. It's supported by the advertising sales. So that's, again, I think it's important. Find the right fit.